Students, in this video we are going to learn some of the most important diagram based MCQs for the coming NEET exam. So the figure given below is of tobacco mosaic virus. Identify the label A. So here label A is the genetic material of this virus and this is RNA. What is the function of the cell marked as A? So in this Nostoc diagram, the cell labeled A is helps to fix atmospheric nitrogen. Mark the correct answer with the relation of estivation in the diagram. So the correct answer is valvate, example calotropis. What is a common location of the type of epithelium that has been shown in the figure? And it is PCT, proximal convoluted tubules in the nephron. The experiment demonstrated in the figure was carried out by Priestley. Bell jar experiment performed by Priestley. What is the function of structure labeled as A? It helps in absorption of fats. Which is the hormone synthesized by A part of pituitary? It is none of these. The given diagram represents an experiment used to demonstrate which of the following plant hormone. It is axin. What is the correct labeling for the diagram given? So the correct labeling is option C, that is notochord. What is the biomolecule demonstrated in this diagram? The biomolecule is nitrogen base. What is 1 denotes here? The 1 denotes here is ammonification. Which of the following is an example of hormone that has given mechanism of action? So it is estrogen. Organism given in the figure is an example of protozoa. Mark the correct option. Here the correct option is hypogynous flower, example mustard. Which one of the following is correct option? So the correct option is D, is telocentric. What does the T wave signifies in ECG? The T wave signifies repolarization of ventricles. What is a special property of the organism given in the figure? The special property is bioluminescence. The organism in the diagram belongs to which class of vertebrate? It is cyclostomata. Which of the following is correct labeling regarding the different region of root tip? The correct answer is root cap. What is the most common location of the type of epithelium in the figure? It is lining of intestine. Diagram is showing a neuromuscular junction at motor end plate, which is the neurotransmitter that transfers stimulus from neuron to muscle. It is acetylcholine. Mark the correct option in the given 1, 2 and 3 of Krebs cycle. The correct option is malic acid with 4 carbon atom. So second number is malic acid with 4 carbon atoms. Which of the following statement is correct? The correct statement is it represents, second represents facilitated diffusion. Among the three, the correct one is option D, that second one represent facilitated diffusion. During which phase does duplication of centriole occurs? The duplication of centriole occurs in S phase of cell cycle. What is the organism depicted in the diagram? This organism is laminaria. Correct example of type of placentation shown in the diagram is dianthus. Mark the correct option. So in the given figure, the correct option is blind spot, the third is blind spot. What does this diagram represent? This diagram represents hydroponic plant production. In case of competitive inhibition, how does the value of Km changes in order to attain initial Vmax by 2? It is increases. Mark the labeling. The correct labeling in the given figure is B, meristematic zone. Mark the incorrect statement regarding the muscle tissue shown in the diagram. The incorrect statement is they are non-striated, option C. Mark the correct option in the given three figures of the three cells. The correct option is all of these. A is in hypotonic solution, B occurs in hypertonic solution because cytoplasm protoplasm is going to shrink, and A is hypertonic solution, C is hypotonic solution, and B occurs in isotonic solution. Mark the correct labeling. In the given stomata diagram, the correct labeling is of chloroplast, that is the third labeling is chloroplast. Which is the correct option? In the given four diagrams of Marchantia, the correct option is given in figure C, that is with Anthridiophore, Gemma cups and rhizoids are the correct labelings. What is the type of epithelium shown in the diagram? The type of epithelium is squamous. Which organelle is unique to this cell? So this is animal cell, it is centriole. The diagram represents myosin monomer. Mark the correct statement. Here the correct statement is ATP binding site. The fourth labeling in the given figure is ATP binding site. Which of the following correctly labels in the cell responsible for the release of histamine? So the release of histamine is by mast cell, and here it is labeled as 2, option B. Scutellum is represented by, here scutellum is represented by fifth labeling, that is it is equivalent to cotyledon in monocot. The given diagram represents the absorptions of light by different pigment. Mark the correct statement. So the correct statement is labeling 1, that is chlorophyll. B. What is happening to diaphragm in the given figure? So in the given figure, diaphragm is undergoing contraction. What is the scientific name of the member of Plantae kingdom represent in the figure? It is equisitum. Which of the following is the correct label? In the given figure, the correct label is option C, second part, ulna. Which stage of M phase is represented in the figure? It is anaphase. Which of the four types of teeth shown in the diagram is monophyodont? It is option C. Fourth one is monophyodont. What is the site of action of ADH? The site of action of ADH is DCT, distal convoluted tubule. Which of the following bones does not exist in pair? It is occipital bone. Which is incorrect with respect to organelle shown in the figure? The incorrect is synthesis of ATP. It does not involve in synthesis of ATP. It is rough endoplasmic reticulum. The diagram represents sarcomere, functional unit of muscle. Which of the following is the correct option? The correct option is option C. First labeling is H zone. The given diagram represents, it is representing dicot leaf. In this diagram of ovary, mark the options which is correct label. It is option B, tertiary follicle. B is a tertiary follicle. What does the marked structure represent? The marked structure is A, that is conidia. The diagram shown shows the fruit flies used by Morgan for his experiment. Mark the correct statement. Correct statement is option C. Male and female are easily distinguishable. The diagram of a fertilized embryo sac. Mark the correct statement. The correct statement is E. It is representing degenerating antipodals. Mark the incorrect statement regarding this bioreactor diagram. It is option A. Diagram represent simple stirred tank bioreactor because it is a sparked tank bioreactor. If population density at a time t is n, that its density at a time t plus 1 represent by n is option D. Population density n is equal to n plus B plus I, birth rate plus immigration, minus D plus E, death rate plus immigration. Mark the incorrect marking. The incorrect marking here is D, that is charged plate. Which of the following structure guides the pollen tube into mature embryo sac? It is option 3 C, synergids, filiform apparatus. Mark the incorrect statement about the diagram. The incorrect statement is in sickle cell anemia, GAG of mRNA gets converted into GTG, option D. What does blue line represents? The blue line represents BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. The diagram represents a population growth curve. Mark the correct option. The correct option is 4. K is carrying capacity. The diagram, the relative contribution of various gases to the global warming. Mark the correct composition of the gases. The correct composition of the gas is option D, N2O, 6%. What is the incorrect about B? In the figure of anther, the labeling B incorrect is while developing, none of this. An exception to the above diagram, above central dogma is exception is it is not for retrovirus. The diagram represents Bougainvillea and Cucurbita. Both are homologous organs, homologous evolution. The pedigree chart, the given pedigree chart represents autosomal recessive. Which layer serves the function of providing nutrition to the developing pollen? It is tapetum, option 3, labeled E. Mark the incorrect statement related to PBR 322. It is option 3, C represents ROP. Which muscle marked by C? It is pectoralis muscle. Pectoralis major. The diagram represents a nucleosome. Mark the correct labeling. The correct labeling is labeling A, H1 histone. Mark the correct answer about this population interaction. The correct one is C, that is predation. What is the location of marula in the diagram? In the given diagram, label diagram, the marula represents figure labeling E, that is option B. This diagram represents about gemule. Mark the correct statement. Here, the correct statement is option C, male are homogametic in birds. Mark the correct labeling. In this diagram of seminiferous tubule, the correct labeling is option 3, F is spermatogonium. What is the vector for the disease shown in the figure? It is Culex. The diagram represents biome distribution according to temperature and precipitation. Mark the correct option. The correct option is 2. B is temperate forest. Which of the following were the gases involved in this experiment? So all the gases were involved in Stanley Miller experiment. Mark the correct option related to this phosphorus cycle. The correct option is D, is weathering. Which hormone represented by A? A is option 3, estrogen.